Chapter 13 of Court of Blood and Bindings is filled with purity culture baggage. Quote, did it mean I was his little fey whore after all? Could I shrug off a violent past for a few hours of rolling around in the hay? Instead of simply wanting Creon because she's attracted to him, she tries to repress her sexual desire, worrying that she will appear indecent, reckless, or morally weak. Em and Creon continue to develop feelings after their kiss, and they study the labyrinth to fulfill their mission of assassinating Mother. They are summoned to a celebration at Mother's request. Em is horny and having flashbacks and analyzing the kiss with Creon. Quote, did it mean I liked him? Did it mean I was his little fey whore after all? Did it mean I was the kind of woman who could shrug off a violent past and a deadly disregard for human lives in exchange for a few hours of rolling around in the hay? Did he want me to be that woman? End quote. She tries to quench her horny by looking up his dictionary entry again to remind herself that he is a mass murderer and torturer. But after reflecting on how many people he has hurt, she gets overwhelmed thinking about how hot he is and seeks him out on the beach. Creon apologizes for forcing a kiss on her, but Em insists it's okay and they have some flirty banter and she giggles. Em alludes to Creon penetrating her, but they eventually stop flirting and decide to get back to work. Creon teases her a bit more about her difficulties learning the Fey language. And here we have the biggest purity culture quote in the book so far. What could I say? I want you. I want you to read it from my thoughts and sweep me off my feet and kiss me again so I can at least blame you for my temporary loss of sanity, so I can feel you all over me, inside me too, and still be a decent person. I want you to make up my mind for me. I just don't want to doubt anymore. I swallowed and muttered, I don't want to make things complicated. What is the complication? You are. This passage is so bad because Emmeline explicitly outsources her agency to Creon. She wants him to initiate so she can keep her image intact. She craves plausible deniability, so I can at least blame you, which is a classic purity culture mechanism. Women must not be seen as choosing sex. Her desire is only safe if it comes under the cover of male dominance. Notice how she frames her horniness as temporary loss of sanity. She says she doesn't want to doubt anymore, which makes Creon's decisiveness erotic. His ability to override her uncertainty is attractive. Her doubt and indecision are virtue signals to the reader, designed to make her seem morally good for resisting temptation. This ties into a wider romantasy trend. Female desire is framed as too dangerous or shameful unless mediated by male control, which is what makes being swept away so common in the genre. Unfortunately, it's also what supports rape culture. In real life, there's no way for a man to accurately know whether a woman secretly wants it or not. Encouraging people to play a game where the woman pretends to resist and the man pretends to know she secretly wants it is exactly how the lines of consent are blurred. Sure, in a fantasy romance book, we can know, via omniscient narrator and hearing their thoughts, that she does in fact secretly want and love it, but in real life this is no different than the thought process of a rapist or unwanted sexual advance. In a mini time skip, they study the labyrinth for 4 days before returning to it. The labyrinth has a history of making Fae disappear, and eventually it was closed by Mother because it was unsafe for Fae. This plot point makes no sense because 1. The Mother doesn't care if random people or Fae die. She wouldn't close off an area for safety. If the throne was really her weak point, she would not allow people to run around underneath it at any point in time. The narrative claims she let people run around the labyrinth until it proved too much of a safety hazard. Another messenger Fae interrupts their training, and Emmeline is nearly caught doing Fae magic. The messenger says Creon and Em are required to attend a celebration for some other Fae's successful mission quelling a human rebellion. Creon hints that the celebration will be orgiastic. Em worries about what dress she will wear, deciding to do her own alterations. This prompts Creon to ask about her seamstress skills and past, where Em mentions her failed apprenticeship due to her powers going out of control. The scene ends with Creon validating Em and criticizing her father for not helping her develop her powers. Quote, because they made you feel small, a pause, and there is nothing small about you, end quote. Em is comforted by his validation and says, Creon, ... When Em is validated by Creon while criticizing her father for his lack of approval, it shows a transfer of male validation from her father to Creon. Her insecurity is rooted in her poor relationship with her father, her failed apprenticeship, and within the confines of her gender role. It's supposed to be an uplifting scene where Creon gives her the validation she has long been missing, but it reinforces the idea that validation can only come from male approval. Creon criticizes her father, validates her worth, and replaces her father as the new authoritative male in her life, similar to how a father walks the bride down the aisle, transferring her to the groom. Where Emmeline was unable to earn praise from her father, she is finally able to earn it from Creon, mostly through providing sexual access to her body, and she finds his praise intoxicating. This scene probably hits an emotional beat with readers who grew up in an authoritarian household or who had difficulties receiving praise and encouragement from their fathers. But it doesn't truly work to resolve Emmeline's insecurity, it just serves to transfer ownership from her father to Creon.